How's it going, everyone? And this video is going to be about how to park your motorcycle. So I'm in the neighborhood, right, riding down the road, and I want to park on the curb somewhere. So I put on my blinker, start to slow down, and this is what I do. I pull up really close to the curb like this and make sure no one's behind me. And I kind of pull out into the road a little bit, and then either I turn off the bike or I leave the bike running, doesn't really matter. Turn the handlebars all the way to the right, and I just tiptoe back it up until my rear tire hits the curb. Bam, there you go. Turn off the bike, everything is good. I'm just gonna jump off to show you. So that's the move, and that's how I park the bike every single time. As the road is cambered, it's slanted a little bit lower this way. You don't want to pull in forward. This is going to be that much more difficult to try to back it out. So whenever you're going to park, here's the curb, right? You pull forward first. Make sure no one's behind you so you don't cut off a car. Pull forward a little bit and then back it up. That way when you're ready to go, you could get on the bike, you could take off and go to where you're going. But this is the best case scenario where there's no car right here, where you could pull up really close to the curb, like way earlier, pull up really, really close, forward, and then back it up. But what if you're parking in between two cars, which is probably more realistic? So let me go find a spot where there's a couple cars. It might just be right up there. And I'll show you what I'll do then. It's the same process, it's just you really have to be aware there's no one behind you. That's really the only risk or safety thing to think about. Let's see, I'll go right. Here we go. Got my blinker on. There's no one behind me, first gear. So this way I pull up close to the car. Go right here, make sure no one's behind me. This time I'll turn off the bike and back it up nice and easy. There's only a couple things to consider. Tire hits the curb, I'm all good. So a couple things to consider. First, you don't want to park in a space that's so close to either one of the cars where this car has to back up and they might hit you. But as you can see, there's no one in front of this car, and there's a driveway right there. So the car is able to go forward with a lot of room. They don't have to back up first. So if I wanted to get even closer to the car, that'd be okay. So you have to read the scenario. If there was no driveway right there and that Subaru was a little bit closer, the car would have to back up first before pulling forward. So I'd park a little bit away from them, just like I am right now, to give myself plenty of room between the van and the car. Another thing to keep in mind, my bike has a center stand, right? So if I want to put my bike on the center stand while I'm parking, I'm not going to do this because I cannot get it on the center stand right now, even if I wanted to. Try to put the bike up, right? I'm too close to the curb. So what I would have to do, if I wanted to put it on the center stand, like if I was going away for a little while, I would just pull the bike forward a little bit more, make sure there's no cars, pull the bike forward a little bit, and then I'd put it on the center stand, and then that way it'd be close enough to where the tire is almost touching the curb. I could probably back it up another inch or so, so it's damn near touching the curb or touching the curb, but it's also on the center stand. Because what you don't want to happen is your bike to stick out extremely far from the width of the cars normally. And that's because my bike is pretty much perpendicular to the cement or to the curb. I can also tilt it a little bit more, right, to get that angle so it's not protruding out in traffic, which will be my fault if someone hits me, right? It's too far out. Just a couple things to consider. All right. So let me go find a spot where it may not be the best location, just to show you. We take a right, see what's going on down this road, Opal. All right, is that a driveway? No, it's a driveway. I can't park there. No, looks like it's another driveway. So you don't want to park here. Well, it's pretty close in between cars. You could. You just gotta make sure the cars have enough room to pull out and they're not gonna back up into you. All here is real easy parking. You could do what I did earlier. Let me see if there's a spot that's a little bit more tight. No, that's a lot of open spot. What about right there? Let me make a U-turn. Back down to first gear, make sure no one's behind you. There you go. So I'd put on my blinker, make sure there's no one behind me. And if there is a car behind me, what I would do, I would just sit here like this, look in my mirror, make sure the car goes past me. There's no one behind me. I make sure I actually look, and then right, go forward. Another tip, so watch this. I'm gonna redo it. So let's say your bike's a little bit heavy, right? So pay attention to what I do. I'm gonna go forward, I'll get on the brakes pretty hard, and as I go off the brakes and as the suspension rebounds, it gives you a little boost to get the bike going backwards, right? So check it out. So I go forward a little bit, watch. See that? I get on the brakes and I let go of the brakes to kind of gives me that rebound to get the bike start going backwards. Same thing, bam, hits the curb, bike's off, and you're all good. You're parked. So there you go. Those are just a couple things to consider if you're parking on a curb. I do the exact same thing. Let's say I'm at Walmart or something, I'm parking in an actual spot. I pull it forward first and then I back up into it and I make sure I'm pretty much in the center of the parking space and my front of the bike is even with the edge of the car, so somebody doesn't just swoop in, because I don't want to hide the bike really far back if I'm in an actual parking spot. You see what I'm saying? So there you go. That's how I park all the time if I'm parking in a neighborhood or up against a curb somewhere. If you do anything different, let me know what it is and comment below. Thanks for watching.